And nothing's more awkward than getting caught in a dead Basilosaurus's mouth. This just ruins the video. I can't believe we managed to pull this off. Look at that. We're flying in midair in Basilosaurus's mouth.
Whirl.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Cjthecheesedj here, and we're back with another top 10. And today we're taking a look at 10 dinos you should tame once you get over level 70. Now, some of these dino saddles are below level 70, however, these are just our recommended list for the dinos that you can get over level 70, and ones that you should definitely tame up, whether it be for PvP, PvE, anything in between, and whatnot. So I would definitely recommend getting these 10 dinos. Let's get straight into the list. Coming in at number 10 is the Quetzal. Now, this guy's at number 10 because you pretty much need this guy to pick up other dinos for you, such as the Megatheriums, Stegos, Trikes, any of the larger scale dinos that Argents are not able to pick up, or Pteranodons. You're going to need a Quetzal to be able to pick them up. Now, not only that, these guys are able to equip platform saddles, which enables you to pretty much use them as portable bases. You can use these guys then in turn to create your own mobile raiding platform, or you can just use it as a general moving of dinosaurs. You can easily transport up to 5 or 6 dinosaurs on the back of a Quetzal, granted that it has enough weight. And speaking of their weight, they have a huge, colossal size amount of weight. Now, you can also use these guys to do a crap ton of metal runs. They also have a very large health pool, so these guys are really good. The only downside to them, obviously, since the flyer nerf, is their movement speed. They are sloths when it comes to soaring through the skies. However, when you take into consideration the fact that they're able to pick up most dinosaurs off the ground and carry them, such as mammoths, I think mammoths are actually the largest they're able to carry. Not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on it, but these guys are pivotal to any tribe that plans, or any player, over the level of 70, because you can use these guys for anything you want. Portable base, mobile dino transport, portable refining forge, anything you like. That's why the Quetzal is at number 10. Number 9 on this list is the Daedon. Now, this guy packs a big punch, and he also has the ability to heal your other dinos. You can see here we're able to do a bit of a knockback on the actual Trike, and you can see that it's absolutely shredding the poor Trike. The Trike had no chance of surviving the Daedon's attacks. Now, as well as that, the Daedon is pretty mobile in terms of movement speed and jump speed, as well as jump distance. This guy is pretty much a very good versatile all-terrain mount, because you can see here he does have a bit of a jump on him, and his movement speed is pretty decent. You level up his movement speed a little bit and you'll have yourself a pretty fast mount. Now, as well as that, like I said, he has the ability to heal dinos that you have tamed as well over time. However, he does consume a huge amount of food while doing so. You can see his food is rapidly decreasing, but these guys have a solid amount of health and a solid amount of melee damage. And I would say these guys are pretty pivotal when it comes to dino boss battles. You definitely want to Daedon healing your dinos while you're taking on the bosses with an army of T-Rexes, Therizinosaurus, or Megatheriums, whatever the heck you're using to take them on. So I would definitely recommend getting a Daedon once you're over the level of 70, even before level 70. Nowadays on Ark, it doesn't take very long to get to 70, even on PvP. You can easily get to level 50 in an hour, granted that you use the Explorer notes to do so. But these Daedons are very good for tribes or single players that is just hoping to try and kill the bosses. And they pack a huge punch of damage. You would not expect such little amounts to have such power behind them. That's why the Daedon is number 9 on this list. Now, at number 8, we had a bit of a dilemma. We couldn't really differentiate between these two dinosaurs, so we decided to put both of them at number 8. Now, at number 8, we have the Therizinosaurus and the Megatherium. These guys are both equally just as tanky, just as powerful as each other. You can see here the Megatherium is going to attack that Ovis if it obeys us. That's a rock. We can't get it to attack a rock. Let's get it to attack this Ovis. You saw there with the Therizino we were hitting 146 before our Daedon rudely interrupted it. But the Megatherium is a huge beast, and he also gets the bonus from killing bugs as well. So that increases his damage tenfold over, and he just packs a huge punch with whatever he attacks. People use the Megatherium in order to kill the Broodmother. That's how powerful he is. An army of Megatheriums can topple one of the boss dinos throughout Ark. And like I said, he's the king of gathering chitin, and he also gets the buff while fighting bugs, which is why many people use him to fight the Broodmother, because of his unique ability of that. He's just an all-round crazy strong mount. Now, the Therizino, on the other hand, is just as strong as the Megatherium, with the Therizino being able to attack stone structures and damaging them, as well as being able to harvest the dead and get meat as well as hide, which like the Megatherium can also do. Now, much like the Megatherium as well, the Therizinosaurus has been subbed out for some bosses in place of Rexes because they've been using Therizinos instead of Rexes. Now, this strategy is viable and I would use it. However, I still don't 100% agree with Therizinos being stronger than Rexes. They do pack a punch, but they are still not as powerful as Rexes. So the Therizinosaurus is hands down one of the most powerful dinos, as well as the Megatherium. Now, both these guys are huge gatherers. They can both gather wood, thatch, and berries, as well as fiber. However, I think the Therizinosaurus does do it better than the Megatherium does, so there is also that to consider when factoring in which one you should tame. But for me, I sway more towards the Megatherium. I just like him better as a mount. But that's just my personal opinion, much like the entirety of this list. So that's why these two dinos are at number 8. At number 7, we have the giant chicken Rex, the Yutyrannus. Now, this guy is pivotal for any tribe or solo player as well after the level 70, because you can use this guy, like I said, for other dinos in this list, for boss battles, for buffing your other dinos in PvP battles, or demoralizing enemy dinos that you just want to weaken in general. Now, they have a courageous buff and a demoralizing buff. You can see there, that is the demoralizing roar. You'll see us when we get up to this Pteranodon actually use it, but the problem with these roars is that they deplete a huge amount of stamina, so you got to be really careful when choosing to use it. But you can see here, he has a regular bite attack which deals a huge amount of damage. Definitely exactly the same as the Rex. He deals the same amount of damage as a Rex does, but you can see there, that is the courageous roar, and that actually buffs your dinos, giving them, I think, a 25% increase. We have tested it out in our previous video. I can't remember the exact numbers though, but this guy is still a powerhouse to be reckoned with. And you can see there, the Titanoboa is now scared and debuffed from the roar. This not only scares the dino if they've taken a certain amount of rolls, but it also reduces the amount of damage they do, as well as increasing the amount of damage that the Yuty does to them, which makes the Yutyrannus one of the most powerful dinos in all of Ark, honestly. He could easily take the spot of Rex, however he doesn't have as much health as a Rex does, but these guys are still definitely not to be trifled with, and you can easily take them into boss fights and PvP fights. That's why the Yutyrannus is number 6 on this list. Now at number 6, once again, we have a tie between the Rex and the Spino. Honestly, we were really torn between the two. Both had their faults, both had their excellencies, but we just decided to go with the tie because honestly, they're both just as good as each other. And like I said, the Rex here, he deals a whopping amount of damage, but so does the Spino. There's only about 70 points of difference between the Spino and the Rex. However, the Spino does have the increased attack speed. Now, take in mind that this is on console, so the TLC pass has not come into effect yet, so the Rex still hasn't changed, and I'm not sure if the TLC pass actually affects his attack speed or not, but at the moment, the Rex is still the powerhouse of Ark. And while the Spino is just the all-terrain vehicle of Ark, you're able to take the Spino through water. It's able to move a lot faster than the Rex. It also has slightly more stamina than the Rex, but like I said, it does not have the same amount of health and melee damage. You can see the difference there. So you obviously don't see people taking Spinos into boss fights because they're just not as viable as Rexes are. So Rexes are still the powerhouses of Ark. But, you know, you can do everything with Rexes. Go on long hikes with them, take long walks into the sunsets together, anything you like. Demolish the enemy's base with your gigantic jaws of death. The Rex's power is unrivaled by pretty much anything on the Ark aside from the Giga. Now take into mind, I mean, the islands and whatnot. Obviously Aberration as well is in effect there, but the Rexes aren't found on Aberration. So that's why the Rex and the Spino come in at number 6 on this list. At number 5, we have, in my opinion, is the best underwater dino, the Tussotoothless, otherwise known as the giant squid. Now, this guy is essential for big tribes, or just anyone in general that wants to explore the depths of any of the maps. I honestly think the Tusso is the best underwater mount to get. Obviously, you're not going to start off with him straight away, but you can, if so chosen to. This guy has a multitude of skills. Not only does he deal a lot of damage when he swipes with his tentacles, you can see all the tentacles swiping there, he also is able to grab his victims. You can see there, that is the grab attack. Now, as well as that, he's also able to shoot out ink. You can see there, boom, we are now shooting out ink. Now, that actually stuns creatures and allows you to escape. Well, it doesn't stun them, it technically kind of like blinds them, I guess you could say, but it allows you to escape from them if they are proving to be too powerful for you. This guy is the behemoth of the underwater, and nothing is more scary than rocking up on a gigantic squid ready to take out your enemy tribe's underwater dinos just by grabbing them. Obviously, the only exception to this is the Basilisaurus, which is immune to the Tuso's grab attack. However, everything else, including mosasaurs, are not immune to it. So the Tuso is at number 5 for this very reason. Coming in at number 4, we have this weird gangly thing that I don't know what's going on. We should probably get it checked out by a doctor. But number 4 is the Basilisk. I'm only playing with you. It is the Basilisk. We just have to get into Unburied, and you can see him there in all his glory. Well, pixelated glory, that is. Now, this guy is obviously aberration only unless you're able to cross-transfer him. But this guy is a beast in his own right. He has the ability to dig underground with the player on his back, which is rather incredible. You can see there, bam, we are now underground, and you can actually tunnel underground. Now, take into mind that this does affect your oxygen, so if you have a low oxygen amount, don't plan on staying underground for too long, but you can essentially stay there and sneak up on enemy players, either on Aberration or any other maps that you have transferred your Basilisk over to. Now, not only that, they also have the Spit attack, which not only does a damage over time, but it also does a huge amount of damage. You can see there that poor trike just got absolutely annihilated by it. However, do take into mind that if you are riding him while you do that, you will get knocked out as well. You can take damage from it if you swim through it. You can see here our little health bar down there is taking damage while we're sitting through it, but the Basilisk is an all-round great mount. He has a huge carrying capacity. I would dare to say that he has the largest weight capacity in the entirety of Ark when taming a dino. You tame this guy at level 150 and he has a 3700 weight on him. That is absolutely ridiculous. Not only that, his health is also really big, he has a large pool of health, and his melee damage is also very decent. It's not on par with the Rex and the Reapers and whatnot, but he is still able to deal a crap ton of damage, especially with his breath attack, and I've seen many people use Basilisks as raid mounts when raiding on Aberration. These guys are incredible. They're also really good for navigating Aberration as they're able to climb up hills. You can see we're able to climb up that hill with nothing stopping us whatsoever. So the Basilisks are hands down one of the best dinos you should definitely tame once you get over level 70. That's why these guys are number 4 on this list. Now, coming in at number 3 is the Giga. Now, this guy is the behemoth of Ark, and if you did not see this guy coming in on the list, well, just leave the video now. Just go. No, I'm only joking. Don't do that to me. So, the Giga is number 3 because of his sheer power and destructive capabilities. He's one of the only dinos to be able to damage stone structures, as well as that, he has one of the largest health pools in the entire game. You can see here, this is a 150 max tame Giga, and he has 1800 health. Not 1800, sorry, 18,000. That is a crap ton of health. Now, the downside to these guys is their horrible stamina. As well as that, their level increments are not that great, so if you level up anything to do with their health, their stamina, or their melee damage, they don't really get that much. But you don't need to worry about that too much because their melee damage is absolutely insane. You can see there that poor trike just had to suffer our wrath, and we dealt 879 damage to it. Now, these settings might be slightly different because I am on my single player world, but these guys still pack a punch wherever you go, and they are easily able to decimate most of the armies throughout Ark. So I would definitely recommend taming these guys up. However, they require a very high saddle level. I think it's level 90 for the saddle, so make sure you take that into mind when you're thinking about taming these guys up. They're ridiculously powerful, and their taming time is also incredibly long, so make sure you take that into consideration, but that's why the Giga is number 3 on this list. Now, at number 2, we had another bit of a dilemma. The Rock Drake and the Wyvern come in at number 2. Now, obviously, if you're playing on Aberration, you won't have access to the Wyverns unless you can't transfer them over, so you only have access to the Rock Drakes on Aberration, so that's why the Rock Drake is on this list for number 2, because you can obviously tame this guy only on Aberration, whereas the Wyverns you can only tame on Ragnarok and Scorched Earth, but both these guys are just as good as each other. The Wyvern has its breath attack, which is able to deal quite a lot of damage dependent on what Wyvern you have. Fire's dealing, in my opinion, the most damage because of their damage over time, but you still have the Rock Drake, which has the ability to climb up surfaces. Now, obviously in Aberration you can't fly, but you can still glide, and there is a lot of surfaces to climb up in. on Aberration, so the Rock Drake is pivotal for that, whereas in the other maps the Rock Drake is still a viable option because you can see here we're still able to glide quite a bit of distance. It's essentially like flying. However, the Wyverns can stay indefinitely in the air unless they need to land for stamina, so the Rock Drake is for Aberration, whereas the Wyvern is for everywhere else. Now, both these guys are incredibly powerful, like I said. They both have large health pools, and they're both tamed in the exact same way. In terms of damage, though, the Wyverns, in my opinion, are still stronger. However, you do have to take into consideration that the Rock Drake actually has the dive attack, which you can see here. Now, this attack alone does quite a lot of damage to any targets in the area. You can see down here we got a Parasaur that we just tried to hit but failed miserably at because we're horrible at this game. I'm joking, we're not that horrible. I hope you guys don't think that. But yeah, you can see here the Rock Drake is able to deal a crap ton of damage to anything that comes in its path. So I would definitely recommend getting yourself a Rock Drake over the level, once you get over the level of 70 in Aberration, whereas get yourself a Wyvern everywhere else on the other maps. And finally, the piece de resistance, the #1 creature to tame over the level 70 is the Reaper King. Now, this isn't the Reaper King that you see us riding on, this is the actual Reaper Queen, but the Reaper King is just a smaller version of the Reaper Queen. Now, this Reaper King is absolutely nuts. Not only does he have a huge amount of damage, it has the ability to shoot spores out of its butt, get stuck in the wall. You can see the spores coming out of its butt, do a spin attack that launches back any victims caught in the vicinity. It also has the ability to jump or bury underground as well. Now you can see there the Reaper Queen did bury underground, but the Reaper King have the exact same abilities as the Reaper Queen. However, the Reaper King has the ability of being able to jump when you hold down X. You can see here that is why our Reaper Queen is burying, because we're pressing X to showcase the jump attack, but it does not have a jump, it just buries underground. The Reaper King is also capable of burying underground, and it is a little bit slower than the Reaper Queen, but the pure damage that just comes out of the Reaper King is absolutely nuts. Now you can see here we're unable to accurately depict it because of it being the Reaper Queen, but the attacks are still all the same. You can see here the spin attack does a huge knockback attack on anything in its vicinity. You can see the Kana just got launched into a boulder that was there, but you can precisely keep everything at bay and just continue attacking it. Now this is really useful on Aberration because of the bigger creatures. However, if you are running around with a Reaper King, you don't need to worry about anything being bigger than you because you are the biggest on the Aberration server, and that's why the Reaper King is #1 on this list. Alrighty guys, that'll be it for today. Let me know what you thought of the video down below. Let me know if you'd change anything on the list. And there are no honorable mentions for this video today. I feel like we've managed to cover most of it throughout the whole list. It is a top 10, so it is larger than what we normally do. But then again, there are a lot more dinos in Ark than there were previously, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the list. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. Think about subscribing if you haven't already. But other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I hopefully catch you in the next one.